I am going to call to order the meeting of the Board of Adjustment for June 17th, 2021. Christine, can you read the sunshine notice, sunshine law notice?
Okay, this is the Thursday, June 17th, 2021 meeting of the Franklin Township Board of Adjustment. Franklin Township is operating under a declaration of state and local emergency due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, and it has been determined that the public's attendance at meetings of the zoning board would pose a risk to their health, safety, and welfare. Therefore, this meeting has been relocated from the council chambers at the Franklin Township Municipal Building to a virtual meeting format and is being conducted utilizing virtual and remote telecommunications equipment in conference with the directives of the state of New Jersey. The relocation of this virtual meeting of the zoning board was posted on the township's official newspaper, the Courier News, on the township website and within the municipal building. This notice detailed the following means of public participation in this remote meeting: link to the virtual meeting via WebEx, call-in number for those without internet access. Public inspection of application materials was made available via the township website and/or in the planning and zoning department in the municipal building. Formal action may be taken at this virtual meeting. Reminder to the board members, please mute yourselves unless you wish to speak or to provide a vote. Please withhold questions until all the applicant's witnesses have finished presenting, at which time the chair will ask the board for their comment. Instructions for public input. For those members of the public that are watching via WebEx who wish to speak, there are two options. Please press the raise hand button to use this feature. Click on participants icon in the lower right corner of your screen, which will open a participants window on the right side of your screen. In the lower right-hand corner of that window will be a hand icon. Click on the hand icon. For those members of the public that are listening via the call-in number who wish to speak, press *3. At the appropriate time in the meeting, the township staff will announce your name, unmute you, and you will have opportunity to provide comment. Please provide your name and address. If providing a statement, the board attorney will swear you in. After speaking, if on WebEx, please press the lower hand button. If you're calling in, please press *3 again. That's it, Mr. Shepherd.
He's muted.
Bob, you're muted.
I hate it when I do that. Yes, I think that serves as the appropriate notice. Let's move through the items now on the agenda. Christine, can you bring up the first matter?
Sure. The first thing that
Gotta call the roll. Gotta call the roll.
Oh, okay. You're right. Okay, so the first matter is to call the roll. Cheryl Bethia.
Here.
Bruce McCracken. Allow me 1 minute, please. Let me see if he's on. Yep, he is. Let me make him a presenter. I mean, a panelist. Oh, wait, Mark, I'm not the host anymore.
Yeah, you made me host. In a little bit, Christine, why don't you should retain host again just because you're at the municipal building, but we can do that later.
Okay.
Okay.
Here. Bruce, I see you. Joel Reese.
Here.
Alan Rich.
Here.
Gary Rosenthal.
Here.
Robert Shepherd.
Here.
Rich Procanic, did you see him on the attendees, Mark?
I'll check again.
Okay, I'll go on and we'll go back to him. Kunal Akia.
Here.
Wasim Kadas.
Here.
Okay, and Chairman Thomas asked to be excused this evening. Did you see Rich Procanic?
No.
Okay, I will mark him as absent. Okay, as per Mr. Shepherd's request, we do have, if you all could mute yourselves unless you're being asked to answer. Thank you. We have 3 resolutions that are going to be memorialized. But before we start with that, I would like to bring up, Mark, if you can make me presenter, please. For those of you that are on the call in or on the WebEx, there are 2 matters being carried this evening. Sai Dada Mandir, as well as Dada Bhagwan Vignan Institute. Both of those matters are going to be carried to July 1st, and I'm going to bring up that information and read it over to you all. Let me just make sure that this didn't switch. This was the July 1st meeting. Okay, so the July 1st meeting at 7:30 p.m., both matters, I'll read them individually for you as soon as I stop moving around here. There it is. Okay, Sai Dada Mandir Incorporated, docket number ZBA-19-0037. This is a preliminary and final major site plan with C and D variances in which the applicant wants to construct a 28,970 square foot place of worship at 583 South Middlebush Road, Somerset, Block 36.01, Lot 6.03 in Zone A. This matter will be carried to July 1st at 7:30 with no further notification needed. For those wishing to participate in the hearing via virtual WebEx meeting, the event address for attendees will be posted on the Township's website at https://www.franklin.twp.nj.org/home/components/calendar/event 17606/2193. For those wishing to listen via telephone, the call-in number is 1-408-418-9388, and the access code for this is 129-721-1334. For those of you that wish to participate in the Dada Bhagwan Vignan Institute, docket number ZBA/19/00040. This is a D3 conditional use variance, C variance, and site plan in which the applicant is asking to construct a 21,083 square foot place of worship with a parking lot and a 5-foot monument at 630 South Middlebush Road, Somerset, Block 37.02, Lot 46.03 in the Zone A. This is carried to July 1st with no further notification needed. For those of you wishing to participate in the hearing via virtual WebEx, the event address for attendees will be posted on the Township's website at https://www.franklin.twp.nj.org/home/components/calendar/event For those wishing to listen via telephone, the call-in number is 1-408-418-9388, and the access code is 129-721-1334. I have provided this information up on the screen for those of you that are linked in. You can see it. It's been up the whole time I've been speaking. You can also call me, Christine Woodbury, at 732-873-2500. My extension is 6215. If you have any questions pertaining to these meetings and where they're being carried. Okay, so Mr. Shepherd, if you would like to call the resolutions into order. Mark, I can make you host now, if that's okay? Or I can stay host, I mean, I'll take back host, I apologize. Bob, you're on mute.
You know, I'm going to have to stay off mute because I keep forgetting. I would like you to identify the resolutions and so that we can all vote on them.
Oh, sounds good. The first resolution for this evening is James and Susan Morano, docket number ZBA 20-00016. At this time, the people who cannot vote on this are Cheryl, Robert Shepherd, Richard Burkett's not here, and Kunal Lakir. If one of the other members would.
I move to accept. I'll second.
Oh, you didn't even let me finish my conversation. Who seconded, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Bruce McCracken,
Yes.
Joel Reese,
Yes.
Alan Rich,
Yes.
Gary Rosenthal,
Yes.
Wasim Fardas.
Yes.
Okay. The second resolution is for Saurabh, Saurabh, and Abisha, Abhisha Desai, docket number ZBA 21-00006.
I move to accept.
Thank you, Joel.
I'll second.
Okay, Bruce oh, I apologize. Yeah, you guys can vote. Okay, Bruce McCracken,
Yes.
Joel Reese,
Yes.
Alan Rich,
Yes.
Gary Rosenthal,
Yes.
Wasim Fardas.
Yes.
Okay, the third and last resolution is for DNT Holdings Group LLC, docket number ZBA 21-00001. Those that cannot vote on this is Kunal and Wasim.
I move to accept.
Second,
That was you, Bob, right?
yes.
Cheryl Bethia,
Yes.
Bruce McCracken,
Yes.
Joel Reese,
Yes.
Alan Rich,
Yes.
Gary Rosenthal,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Shepherd.
Yes.
So the only matter that we will be hearing this evening is All Well Pharmacy LLC, docket number ZBA-21-00010. This is a D1 use variance in which the applicant proposes to construct and operate a pharmacy within Suite 106 of 49 Veronica Avenue, Somerset, Block 88.02, Lot 73, and this is in a B1 zone. And if you'd like to give me a moment, I will bring in the members of that team to speak. Okay, Mr. Shepherd, at this time, I have brought in Justin Bosiello, who is the professional planner. I brought in Justin Taylor, who is the professional engineer. Mr. Pete Wagner is the attorney, and the applicant is Amar Patel.
And I'm not really seeing them on my screen. This is just going to be the oral part of the hearing that we're going to be conducting here.
No, sir. Mr. Wagner is already present. I see Justin Taylor show up. See Mr. Patel up on my screen. I'm just
Okay.
waiting for Justin Osiello to become visible, and then you will have all four members of that
Okay, good.
applicant.
Yep,
There they are.
Right.
Okay,
Yep, I got it.
take it
Hey,
away,
Mr.
sir.
Wagner, why don't you begin your presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I am Peter Wagner, the law firm of Richard Lupo LLC, representing the applicant All Well Pharmacy LLC. The application concerns a request for a D1 use variance to construct and operate a pharmacy within Suite 106 of 49 Veronica Avenue, also known as Block 88.02, Lot 73 on the Franklin Township tax map. The property is Zone B1. The building is currently utilized as a medical office space and laboratory space, which are permitted uses in the zone. The proposed pharmacy would fill prescriptions and sell over-the-counter medications and surgical supplies to patients within the building as well as to members of the public, thus requiring this variance. The suite itself is approximately 883 square feet of space and a total of 1,067 square feet when common areas are taken into consideration. Legal notices of the application were sent to all property owners within 200 feet by certified mail on June 7th, 2021, and notice was published in the Courier News on June 5th of 2021. We're confident the testimony this evening will show, that the proposed use is inherently beneficial and uniquely suited to the proposed location. And further, the benefits of granting any required variances here connected with the application will substantially outweigh any detriment. We're also confident the testimony will show that our application serves the public interest and has no substantial detrimental impact on the neighborhood or the community. I have two witnesses to present to the board. The first is Justin Taylor of Dynamic Traffic. He's a traffic expert who prepared the traffic impact and parking assessment report. The second is Justin Osceola of Cafone Consulting. He's a licensed professional planner and a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. I have Mr. Amar Patel here as well. He represents the applicant. Allwell Pharmacy LLC is the owner, and he is available tonight to answer any questions the board may have or that the public may have about the application. So
I thought we might hear from the owner first to understand what his proposal is and to understand how this is going to be of benefit to the community. Because if you have an expert testify, he's got to have some facts upon which he's going to rely. Isn't that correct?
that's fine. I'm happy to ask Mr. Patel a few questions to get us started.
Why don't we do that?
Sure.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hi,
Mr.
Amar.
Patel, before you proceed, can you just raise your right hand? I'd like to swear you in.
Yep, sure.
You swear that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
If you could, for the record, just say and spell your name.
Amar Patel, A-M-A-R. Last name is Patel, P-A-T-E-L.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I'm proposing to start a pharmacy over there in the medical building. The proposed area, what I'm looking is on the first floor, and is as Mr. Pete have mentioned, that is around 888 square feet. And I'm planning to start a pharmacy where I can dispense the prescription drug that are being prescribed by the medical doctors in the same building, as well as there are a few other doctors nearby, as well as I will be also supporting dispensing the OTC drugs and the surgical products that are required by all the patient. And in addition to that, I'm also planning to give the delivery services to the patient so that they can get all the medicines on time.
Have you run a pharmacy before, Mr. Patel?
I have not run any pharmacy, but I do have experience in the retail.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I have not run any pharmacy, but I do have experience in the retail pharmacy.
In retail pharmacy. Okay.
Yep.
Yes, and the products that you'd be selling, Mr. Patel, are they limited to prescription medications, non-prescription medications, and surgical supplies? Is that a fair assessment?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, and you would not be selling any other products that might be found in a commercial or retail pharmacy, such as greeting cards or food or anything like that. Is that right?
No.
Okay. If the board has any particular questions for Mr. Patel, I'm happy to have them ask.
Sure. Board members, do you have any questions of Mr. Patel? I will take that as a no.
I actually do have a question.
Okay,
Mr. Patel, so my question is about servicing customers other than the patients who would be coming to the medical facility. So the purpose is to solely sell medical equipment or prescriptions, and that would be all to the public?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and I did hear the testimony that there wouldn't be other things sold as you would find at a traditional pharmacy, just the medication, just the prescription, but over-the-counter medications as well?
Yes, over the medication, because that will be an additional benefit to the patient, like cough syrup, painkiller medicines, allergy medicines. So when they come to pick up their prescription, it will be an additional services and help to the community.
Okay.
okay, Mr. Patel, if we were to limit the approval of this, this variance to limit you to your sale of prescription, non-prescription drugs and surgical supplies, would you be amenable to that? Would you be agreeable to that?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have one other question regarding the customers that would be from the outside, from the public, not patients. Do you have a sense of the percentage of the customers that would be from the public versus strictly just patients from within the facility?
I'm expecting 20-30% of the public. Most of my business should be coming from the building where I'm planning to open the pharmacy.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, if that's all the questions we have from the board, I'd like to open this up to the public to see if we have any people that are on line with us now that have any questions of Mr. Patel.
Okay, Bob, I have pulled up the attendee list, and at this time, I do not see anybody with their hand raised wishing to ask a specific question of Mr. Patel's testimony.
Okay, well then let's move on to the next witness.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to call Justin Taylor, a traffic expert.
Hello.
Mr. Taylor, if you could raise your right hand. You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And if you could just spell your name for the record.
Yes, it's Justin Taylor, Taylor.
Thank you.
Could you give us the, Mr. Taylor, could you give us the benefit of your education and experience so that we can qualify you as an expert witness in the area of traffic?
Surely. I'm a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey, as well as Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Texas. I'm also a certified professional traffic operations engineer through the Institute of Transportation Engineers. I've been practicing traffic planning for over 20 years, and I've testified at hundreds of boards throughout the state of New Jersey.
Have you testified before? Have you testified before this board before?
I have. It was probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, but that's all the information we need. If we've taken you on once, as long as you still got your license, you can go back and testify again.
But I have all my credentials I want to tell you about.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Are you familiar with the site in question, with the application?
Yes, I am.
All right. And you prepared the traffic report submitted with the application, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And could you just provide the board with a summary of the report and your conclusions?
Surely. Would it be possible to make me a presenter so we can pull up some information?
Yes, I'll do that right now. Give me 1 second. Okay, you should see your screen available to you momentarily.
Yep. All right. So let's share this. And then we will share this. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see it at this time.
We can see it, yep.
Excellent. So this is just the aerial map that was part of the TRC memorandum dated June 2nd, 2021. But I just want to reference this to kind of give the board a general overview of what the site looks like today. We are here to talk about the reoccupancy of space located at 49 Veronica Ave. The site is located along the south side of Veronica Ave, approximately 2/3 of a mile west of Route 27. As you can see on the screen, it is developed with an approximate 22,400 square foot medical office building, supported by 96 parking spaces, providing a full movement driveway to Veronica Ave. What are we proposing here is the reoccupancy of 1,067 square feet, including the common space that would be associated with that, to be developed with all-wood pharmacy. Now, you've heard Mr. Patel testify of how he will be drawing from the other customers, and there's really a good synergy between this use and the other medical uses within the building. But because retail sales aren't permitted in this zone, we are here for a use variance. So from my end, what I looked at was what impact would the granting of that variance to permit the pharmacy have on the traffic impact of the site and the parking impact of the site. So initially, we looked at the trip generation for these two varying uses. Now, if you take the individual use, that little over 1,000 square feet, isolate it from and look at it as a standalone use, the difference in trip generation associated with converting it to a pharmacy would increase the traffic by a handful of cars during the evening peak hour, reduce it by a handful of cars in the morning, and essentially have a wash on a Saturday. So what we're talking about is 2 to 3 car difference in trip generation that could be realized if the customers were solely new to the proposed pharmacy use. Now, you just heard testimony that Mr. Patel anticipates 70 to 80% of his customers becoming internal to the building. They're vehicles that are already on the site, seeing their doctors within this building. And so realistically, we don't anticipate really any additional traffic associated with the conversion to the pharmacy. And it could actually result in the possible reduction in traffic because, again, they are already physical customers that were on the site. We also looked at the parking demand that could be generated by this type of use. And again, we looked to the Institute of Transportation Engineers for parking ratios that we could anticipate for the two varying uses. Now, a medical office has a parking demand ratio of 3.23 spaces per 1,000 square feet. Pharmacy actually has a lower rate, a rate of 2.19 per 1,000 square feet. So the conversion from a medical office that could have a receptionist and the doctors and the patients coming to and from actually reduce by about 1/3 the parking demand that we would anticipate for that same 1,067 square feet. And again, that's not taking into account the overlapping trips of people that are already here to visit their doctor. So again, the conversion is not going to have any detrimental impact on the parking conditions that are currently on the site. So based upon all of this analysis, I don't see any detrimental impact to the granting of the use variance from a traffic and parking perspective. There's no proposed change to the access or circulation on the site. The change in traffic associated with the new use is negligible, and the parking demand will actually be lower than what it would be if there was a doctor in that same space. So I think what we have here is a great symbiotic use that will complement the existing medical office tenants in the building, and as I said, have no detrimental impact. That's all I have for direct, but I'm here and available for questions.
Oh, I don't have any particular questions, but with the other members of the board may. Board members, do we have any questions?
Do you have the usual handicapped parking spaces, sir?
Yes, there are handicap spaces that are currently provided on the site in conformance with ADA.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. I thought I heard Mr. Patel say that there was going to be a pharmacy delivery service too that he was going to offer. Is that what percentage of the business is that? So will that generate any
So
additional?
there is the potential for several trips, to and from the pharmacy based on that delivery, but it really won't have any impact. When we look at traffic impact, the Institute of Transportation Engineers and the NJDOT have set a threshold of 100 trips that would have a significant impact. So the handful of trips of a van going to deliver this isn't really going to, it's not even going to be noticeable along the roadway.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Taylor, who is you had mentioned an organization that ascribes to this 100 trip proposal or theory?
Yes, it's both the Institute of Transportation Engineers have set that threshold, and the NJDOT has also adopted that as their level for where you would look to study an intersection.
Okay, are you a member of that first organization?
So I am not a member of the ITE. The ITE is a national group that records and distributes information, right? So we submit data to ITE to
Right.
be utilized within their parking and their trip generation manuals.
Right.
But I'm not a member of the institute.
Okay, but the purpose of that organization is to promote development and coordinate traffic. In other words, they're really looking to assist someone who'd like to put a business in. They're not necessarily trying to limit traffic in any particular place.
So the Institute of Transportation Engineers collects data to be utilized by traffic planners such as municipal traffic planners, large-scale regional planners. And what it is it's an assemblage of data so that when we look at a new development, we can say, okay, based on a square footage, this is what we would anticipate the traffic to be generated by this use. This is what the parking demand we would anticipate. And it's an ever-evolving collection of data. So they update their manuals every 2 to 3 years to make sure that data is continually current. So I go to their manual to find the data that I would use for these new uses.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have any additional questions?
I do have an additional question.
Yes.
So the traffic studies, the basis is, what is the time duration that study is looked at? So they're looking at number of trips over, what is the period of time?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So in the traffic planning field, we look at peak hours. Typically on a weekday, that would be the morning commuting hour and the evening commuting hour, because that's when you have the greatest conflict between turning movements, and you get a worst case scenario analysis. So the numbers that I quoted to you, in the AM peak hour, we anticipate one less car if it was a standalone use. In the evening peak hour, we anticipate 3 more trips. And on Saturday, we would anticipate, during the middle of the day, we would anticipate an additional 2 cars. So, but those are during the busiest hour of that time for a 1 hour period.
And the other question I'm wondering, so even though your data is saying that it's less, it's actually a trip or 2 less, but even given the fact that the pharmacy, if you're including the public, wouldn't that have more of a turnaround than you would at a medical facility?
I would say not necessarily. In order for the type of use, the type of doctors that you might have in the same facility, they could be seeing people on a 15-minute time period or a half an hour turnover in appointments. So I don't think that the trip generation associated with the pharmacy is any different than what could go here if this was reoccupied by another doctor.
Okay.
Okay, let's, Cheryl, do you have any additional questions or?
No, I do not.
Okay, can we see whether there's anyone in the public who would like to ask this witness any questions?
Sure, Mr. Shepherd. I am viewing the attendee list now, and at this time, I do not see anyone's hand raised in order to ask a question of Mr. Taylor's testimony.
Okay, then let's, Mr. Wagner, why don't you present your next witness?
Absolutely, thank you. I'd like to call Justin Osceola. It's a certified planner.
Justin, if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear, is he up there? Okay.
Or is he?
I don't think we can hear him.
We can't hear him. Justin, the first tab on the bottom that says mute and unmute. You can't find it? All right. Justin, call my phone. Can you hear me? Shake your head if you can hear me. Okay, call my phone and that way I can help you through. You're turning upside down. 732-718-6892. Members of the board, if he's having difficulty being able to be heard, I can put him on my cell phone. We've had to do this a couple. Oh, never mind.
Sorry about
No
that.
problem.
I'm on my cell phone right here, and I couldn't find it. So just give me 1 second, please, so I can adjust my screen.
Thank you.
I had a power issue at my house this evening, so I am sorry about this. I don't know if you can see me.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay.
You got it? Okay. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And if you could just repeat your name for the record.
Absolutely. It's Justin Osceola, and that's spelled Auciello.
Great. Justin, so that we can listen to your testimony, your expert testimony as a planner, I'd appreciate your giving us the benefit of your educational background and your experience. And where are you licensed?
Yes, absolutely, sir. So I have a master's degree in city regional planning from Rutgers University that was granted in 2005. I've been a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey since 2008. I have been qualified in front of more than 150 boards in the state of New Jersey. I have been qualified in front of the planning board on a few occasions in Franklin Township. I'm not sure if I've been qualified in front of the zoning board, but in addition to that, my planning practice is certainly not just limited to expert testimony. I have written and prepared multiple master plans, redevelopment plans, farmland preservation. Really
That sounds great. I think you've got more than enough experience to testify in this matter. Thank you very much for letting us know.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Osceola. Did you have the opportunity to review the application, master plan, and the site plan, the surrounding areas?
Yes, I have.
All right. And could you provide the board with an assessment of the application, given your credentials?
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Wagner. So from the planning perspective, we're here this evening, of course, for a use variance. The proposed use, no retail sales is permitted in the B1 zone. You've heard testimony from the applicants and Mr. Taylor relative to the operations of the sites, and also kind of the form and function relative to the traffic impact, and also the parking on the site as well. As the board is well aware, there are certain proofs that must be put on the record to establish the justification for a use variance. And given that this is a D1 use variance, the first prong of the justification is the suitability. So what makes this site particularly suited for the proposed use? I think Mr. Taylor kind of stole my thunder a bit when he spoke to the synergistic aspect of this use. That is certainly the case from the traffic perspective, as Mr. Taylor had previously testified to this evening, but also from the planning perspective. That's certainly the case as well. And what I mean by that is, as planners, whenever I work on any type of plan or urban design, or really especially with redevelopment, when we're trying to group certain uses together, we always look for synergies. Synergies only just benefit the public. It's kind of one-stop shopping, so to speak. In this instance, the applicant intends or is seeking to utilize the space to accommodate a pharmacy. And what's unique about this particular property is that it's primarily utilized by doctors, by medical office uses. So this is an opportunity for convenience. This is an opportunity to provide, for convenience, not just for the doctors, but more importantly, the end user, the patient. So Mr. Taylor, he spoke to the suitability and the adequacy of the site from the traffic standpoint relative to the circulation, traffic demand, and also parking. And putting that into the planning perspective, I certainly see that from my standpoint as well. So when we look to the particular the suitability of a particular use, sometimes from the planning standpoint, it's a challenge, and we need to get really creative. In this instance, I don't really see the need to get very creative, because the synergistic nature of this use is quite clear. Relative to the special reasons, that's a showing of whether or not the proposal will advance any purposes of the MLUL, the land use law. Certainly, this is a use, without a doubt, in my professional opinion, that will promote and advance criteria A, which speaks to the promotion of the public health, safety, and general welfare. I think one-stop shopping, allowing a customer to go to a doctor's office and then get the prescription at the same location, and in addition to providing the general benefit and ease of shopping for prescriptions or getting the prescriptions filled is certainly a benefit to the general welfare. Also, I see the advancement of criteria H, and that speaks to the promotion of the free flow of traffic. I think in this instance, as you heard from Mr. Taylor, this is a use that will have little to no impact on the traffic circulation on the site, and also off-site, and the parking demand for this use is minimal as well. I think Mr. Taylor, he also made the point when he was concluding that the pharmacy use as proposed this evening, really from the parking standpoint, is really no different than if this was reoccupied by another doctor. So I think he also referenced the point of kind of being a wash. So I think from the standpoint of the benefits, the promotion of special reasons, I certainly think from the planning perspective, there are two that this application would advance. And again, variances should be granted if, or they should only be granted, as the board is aware, if the benefit also flows to the broader community as well. Again, as I had said, I think in this instance, the synergistic nature of this use and the convenience of this use really kind of lends itself to benefiting the patients and the community as well. Relative to the negative criteria, there are two prongs of the negative criteria, and the first is that no variance should be granted if there is a substantial detriment to the public good. Again, the applicant intends to occupy a small suite in the building, and intends to primarily serve the patients that are in the building as well. So the vast majority of his customers will already be on the site. And again, at risk of repeating myself, but just for a full record, you also did hear from Mr. Taylor, who said that, certainly that this is not going to be a detrimental situation from the traffic standpoint. Again, the area is commercial or, office on Veronica Ave, no residential in the immediate area. So certainly in my professional opinion, as a professional planner, certainly no substantial detriment to the public good. Relative to whether or not there's going to be any detriment to the zone plan and the zoning ordinance, again, I don't see any detriment to the zone plan and the zoning ordinance. The B1 zone is already contemplated. The legislative policy here is to allow for patients to receive medical and lab services on the site. Even though to reconcile the deviation of the use, here, even though retail, over-the-counter retail is not permitted in the zone. Again, this kind of goes back to the synergistic nature and aspect of this use. The deviation, in my opinion, is minor. Certainly don't see it as a major detriment to the public good. And again, I think this just to conclude here. I think what's really critical, especially in a time like COVID, and we're seeing things are improving, but it appears like we'll be in a new normal for how long we don't know. But I feel that just from a practical standpoint, this is a use that allows, especially the elderly population, to receive prescriptions from the site itself. They can go to their doctor, and then they can go either up or down, and they can come to the pharmacy and get their prescriptions filled. So I think that also speaks to the overall benefits of this application. That concludes my testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Ausiello. So in your opinion, would granting the requested variances substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zoning plan and zoning ordinance?
Yes, absolutely, it would.
It would not substantially impair.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. No, that's not a problem. Yes. And is it your opinion? I just want to clarify what you were essentially getting at was that the site is uniquely suited for use as a pharmacy, given the fact that there are medical offices within the same building and in the same area. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is in my opinion, this is when we look at synergistic uses, this is really right up there at the top.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ausiello. I have no further questions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any board questions? I don't have any.
I just like to make a clarification. So the variance that's being requested is solely for selling medication to the public. It is not for selling it to the patients within the facility. Do I have that correct?
No, I can take that if you'd allow. Okay, thank you. The application is for the prescription to sell prescription and non-prescription medication as well as surgical supplies to patients within the building as well as to patients in the public. We anticipate that the patients in the public would essentially be the same patients as are around that immediate area where there are already a lot of medical office buildings. My client testified earlier that he only anticipates about 30%, 25 to 30% of the people who come into the building would be doing so just for his pharmaceutical for Furtis Pharmacy. So the distinction we're trying to make is that it's really all we're selling is the prescription medications, the non-prescription medications, and the surgical supplies that we anticipate patients in the immediate area would need.
And does that also, one of the things that Cheryl mentioned before is your client going to be doing deliveries or not?
Yes, there would be deliveries as part of the pharmacy as well. Yes.
Okay, because I'm gonna limit the proposed resolution to prescription, non-prescription surgical supplies and delivery of those types of elements. Since I just want to make sure that I've got all the things he says he's going to do.
I have a question. So how many doctors' offices are in this building? Just as that, if 70% of the customers are expected to be.
So there are, can I answer on this?
Absolutely, Amar. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so there are 7 to 8 offices in that building, and each offices have around 4 to 5 or maybe more or less doctors, because there are a group of doctors practicing with certain group.
Okay. Okay, so that would be a reasonable, I guess, clientele size for you. So what percentage is going to be the deliveries? Like, is that like a small percentage? Because I'm just thinking like, will there be a lot of UPS, FedEx type of trucks? I mean, how much of the business is expected to be?
Delivery will be, I will be hiring a personal driver where he will go to the patient's house and deliver the prescription, not to UPS or FedEx.
So you won't be doing mail order deliveries, like.
Yeah.
In some cases we have to do it, because sometimes if the patient is out of the town and is out of our delivery zone, then probably, and if it's in the need of emergency, then we have to deliver through UPS or USPS.
Okay, but basically the business purpose is not to be a mail order pharmacy type.
No.
That's correct. And Mr. Patel, just while I have you back for 1 second, did you hear the chairman's question earlier about the limitation to prescription medication, non-prescription medication, surgical supplies, and delivery? Is that correct?
Yep, I agree with that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Patel, I got some questions too. I take it your hours of operation are going to be the same as the building's hours, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and what are those hours?
Right now I'm planning for 9 to 6, and on Saturday it will be 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay, and number of employees, do you have any idea how many employees you're going to have?
There will be one full-time pharmacist, and there will be 1 to 2 technician depending on the work. But for now, it will be 1 pharmacist and 1 technician.
So 2.
Yeah.
Plus a driver.
Driver, he won't be working over there full time. He will be just coming, pick the medicines, and then he will go and deliver to the patient's house.
Okay. All right. And a sign, you're going to have a sign out there too, I take it, right?
Yeah.
And okay. I guess that's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Patel, could you tell me again what the hours are?
It will be 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Okay.
And 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay, good. All right. Anyone, any other board members with questions? Okay, Christine, could you see whether there's any members of the general public that would like to ask a question at this point?
On it, Mr. Shepherd. I already had it pulled up, and nobody at this time has raised their hand to ask a specific question of Mr. Osceola's testimony or adding Mr. Patel's testimony. So you can, I don't see anybody wanting to speak.
Okay. I guess we're coming to the point where we wrap things up for this hearing. Does any of the board members want to make any kind of a comment at this point? Let's just start there. I'll take that as a question.
Okay. I think this operation makes a lot of sense in a building with doctors. And I don't think there'll be a lot of extra traffic from the public because people have, it's not like in a shopping center. People don't really know about this pharmacy except the people in that building or recommended by the doctor. I think it makes perfect sense. And I think it's a beneficial use of that space.
Mhm.
Mr. Shepherd, if I could just make a quick statement, which
Sure.
is, as the board may be aware, I kind of wear two hats. One is the zoning officer and one is the board and township planner. When an application came in for retail, I had to make the determination that they needed a use variance because from a strictly zoning perspective, retail is retail. So I had to look at this and say, okay, it's a pharmacy. It's no different than a dress shop. So you need to go to the zoning board for a use variance. As a planner, I find the testimony quite compelling in the particular suitability of this use. And I think the synergy issue is also very compelling. If they were proposing a dress shop here, there really would be no particular suitability argument. And I think the conditioning the use to the drugs, the prescriptions, the over-the-counter, and the surgical supplies, I think is appropriate, and I think it relates to kind of keeping that synergy and that particular suitability. So that would certainly be an appropriate condition if the board was inclined to approve it.
Thank you, Mark. So we have no members of the public, Christine, that want to make a comment at this point?
I'll check again and see if I see any hands raised. There's very few people on the public side and none of them have their hand raised at all.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion at this point to grant
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. Just one quick thing. The hours of operation, I think that my client may extend those at some point, and I just wanted to put that on the record right now that that's a possibility. I can ask him to testify to exactly what sort of a cushion he might need one way or the other. Mr. Patel, could you just let us know how late you might have to be open on a given day or on weekdays as well as weekends?
So this all depend on the offices over there because sometimes the doctor offices change their timing of their working hours. So in that case, if we have if the office is open up till 8 p.m., so it's beneficial for us to provide the service to them as well.
So 8 p.m. would be a reasonable time for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So 9 to 8 p.m. and 9 to 2 on Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
No extended time on Saturdays, Mr. Patel, just the 9 to 2?
If the board can grant 9 to 5, for now I'm planning from 9 to 2, but in case
That's
if I
fine.
need,
I think we can do that.
yeah. Thank you.
I just
Thank
don't
you.
want to be an all-night pharmacy, that's all.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, since no one else has volunteered, I'll make the motion. I move that we grant the variance that is requested here to the applicant to have a pharmacy located at, is it 49?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah, 49 Veronica Avenue.
Bob, please put in the suite because 49 has different suites, so it
What's the
should
suite?
make it 106, please.
Suite 106 for the sale of prescription pharmaceuticals, non-prescription pharmaceuticals, and surgical supplies, as well as the delivery of those products to its customers, and that it will have hours of be up to 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 9 p.m. through 5 p.m. on Saturday.
I second the motion.
I'd like to make a correction. You said PM on Saturday. I think that was 9 a.m. You meant, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay, thanks, Al.
Okay, and Joel, you second, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Cheryl Bethia,
Yes.
Bruce McCracken,
Yes.
Joel Reese,
Yes.
Alan Rich,
Yes.
Gary Rosenthal,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shepherd,
Yes.
and Kunal Lakir.
Yes.
Okay, that's carried. I think that's the end of our business for tonight.
I move that we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.